Hey everyone, it's Jack Reef here, TalkNorwichCity, back for the exciting video that Jordan Hugill is now a Norwich City player. And I wanted insight from a West Ham fan, of course. I went to the West Ham channel that everyone should be watching, West Ham Fan TV, and got Nicky Hawkins on board. Nicky, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, Jack. Yourself?
Yeah, very well. Exciting news from the Norwich City camp, of course. Jordan Hugill is now a Norwich City player. And I suspect a few excited West Ham fans, because it didn't seem like he was the most loved, the most loved Hammer.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Jack. From my perspective of the signing and that, it was a signing that just never made sense for us. I personally believe that we signed him in the in that transfer window because we was prepping to go down. It was a signing that was sort of had relegation in mind, so to speak. So, you know, he came along. I wouldn't say he was never loved. There's a lot of disdain around the club about the Jordan Hugill because, you know, he was sort of shipped out and never given a chance, and you know, and he spent all season on loan at QPR, and we've taken a huge from what I'm hearing, we've taken a huge loss on him, which, you know, I think he's worrying for West Ham, to be honest. But he done all right for QPR last year. You can't really complain.
I mean, yeah, you say about taking a loss. I think the rumoured fee is being around, you know, the £3 to £5 million mark. It might kind of rise to 5 million with add-ons, but I don't think Norwich would be paying too much more than £3 million. He signed for you, what was it, 2018, for around the £8 million mark. He'd had a good season at Preston. Then he came to you. It was at the time a fair sum of money, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's rumours it was closer towards a 10 million mark. Wow. There was sort of rumblings going on around the club that it was something to do with Moyes and an agent that he knew, and it was more of a favour to him than anyone else. But yeah, it's you know, at the time we didn't really have the money to pay for him, and we had to get him in. Never got a chance, and he got very, very few minutes for us, mate. So I couldn't give you a massive insight, but I did watch him on loan. I took a keen interest on loan at him at QPR last year, and you know, from what I see, he's got a decent goal scoring record in that division. So
definitely, yeah. I mean, you know, fairly tall, fairly strong. In terms of the way that you play, it did seem a strange signing, because I know he didn't, you know, get too many minutes in a West Ham shirt, as you mentioned. But the time you watched him at QPR, was he kind of deployed as that target man type player?
I suppose he was. Yeah, it's very difficult to sort of assess his time there. But what I do know is he scored 15 goals from last year. Now, I think it was 13 in the Championship. Now you're looking at a 1 in 3 striker, 28 years old. You know, he has got. I think he has got the physicality to play in the Championship. He's done very well for Preston. I thought he'd done very well for QPR. Couple of blunders here and there, like, you know, I think I watched one where he missed an open goal, you know. So, but you know, all in all, I think that sort of period in his career was just getting his career back on track. I feel a little bit let down by West Ham in the fact that, you know, obviously we don't owe anyone anything as a club, but you know, that was a kid who was about 26, 27 years old and in the prime of his career, and we've got him and put him on the sideline. So it's a good move for him, you know. And I don't, like you said, that we didn't really like him. I think that the disdain was more for the board in using him and buying him, and what was the point? What was the point of the whole kerfuffle? You know, and the thing that guttens me the most, mate, he never got to walk out of all the bubbles.
He seemed very excited about that, didn't he? There's that famous kind of announcement video. If you haven't seen it, it's well worth a watch. We spoke about the fee earlier. Would you have liked to have seen West Ham maybe, you know, haggle a little harder to get a few more pounds? Do you think he's worth more than the £3 million that kind of has been rumoured?
Well, the thing is, Jack, I think this sort of starts to make me as a fan worry about our finances, because £3 million in today's money is nothing. It's nothing. And you're talking about a centre forward that usually commands a high fee. You know, if you're going to spend the money, you spend the money on a centre forward. Somebody who's just scored 1 in 3 in the Championship at 28 years old, at the prime of what's meant to be the prime of his career. You know, when you're looking at Championship players, we just signed Bowen, 22, winger for 22 million. I think we could have got our money back. But it just seems to me, which is bizarre for me, because we've got so little striker options now. We've just sold a Yeti to Celtic for 5 million. We took a loss on him. These two chairmen that we've got are not people that are going to let money go that easily. You know, so the fact that they're, you know, trying to usher him out the door for what seems like a giveaway price in today's market makes me worry that we haven't got any money.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because the last player we signed from you was Sam Byram, and he'd had that Championship loan spell away from West Ham, came back, never quite worked. It's the same thing with Hugill. When these players are shipped out to Championship clubs in the hope that they'll get some game time under their belts, is the hope that you'll then bed them back into the squad? Or was it with Hugill and Byram, they never quite had the quality to kick on in a Premier League team?
I think Byram could have. I think Byram could have. You know, he came again. I think we signed him for about £6 million. Very highly rated youngster from Leeds. You know, looked to have a career. You know, a good career ahead of him. So I think Byram could have bedded back in. I was very surprised last year when we let him go so cheap. You know, I think it was less than £1 million, wasn't it, that you paid for him? It was
750 grand. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's nothing these days. That's an agent's fee, if anything. But yeah, I think Byron could have. I don't think Hugill would have worked in our system. I think they're looking at perhaps keeping Haller, and you know he's never going to be used. I suppose they're thinking of it more that, you know, give him a chance to revive his career. You know, he's getting into the important years of his career now, so he might have asked for his transfer. But I just find it bizarre. I just think we could have at least held out for 6 million. I think up front. I think that would have been a fair fee.
Definitely. Well, we know with the kind of Jamal Lewis to Liverpool situation that Stuart Webber won't be, you know, he's a hard negotiator, put it that way.
Yeah,
Just finally, Nicky, in terms of his kind of charisma and his personality, that West Ham move for him would have been that big career move. He's worked his way up through the non-league. He finally gets that Premier League move. It hasn't quite worked out. Which way do you think that's gone for him? Has he got the fire in the belly to prove some people wrong? Or do you think now he's going to be looking back at his career and going, I blew my big opportunity and now I'm back in the Championship?
I don't think so. A club like Norwich just been relegated from the Premier League and have massive aspirations to get back up. You know, they're going to be, you know, they've got the taste for the money now. They're going to want that again. So I don't think this is a bad move for him. As I said, at 28 years old, he had a decent goal scoring record last year. He's still held on to Pookie so far. I don't know. I haven't been looking at too much Norwich news, and we all know what he done in the Championship the year before last. I think it could be the sort of the move that he needed. So a year in the Championship, and I think Norwich would be promoted again. So yeah, maybe that's the step he's thinking. There's not going to be many that was going to take him on in the Premier League with such little experience. But the move to Norwich I think is looking 1 year ahead. I'm going to be playing in the Premier League next year. He could have probably went back to Preston and you know, for that sort of money, you know, he could have went back to Preston, played it safe, you know, back to what you know. But no, I think he's looking to get himself promoted and get himself in the Premier League. And I think he will. I think he will want to prove a few people wrong.
With that kind of optimism, Nicky, you're more than welcome back on the channel whenever, mate. There you go then. That's the rundown on Jordan Hugill, fresh in from West Ham into Norwich, a new number 9 for City. If you are looking for more West Ham content, head over to West Ham Fan TV. We've done a lot of collaborations with them in the past. One of my favourite fan channels. Great guys over there, Nicky included. I'll link them in the description below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.